Hi there, my name is Rebekah, and I work as a ghost tour guide in one of the most haunted cities in the southern United States, Wilmington, North Carolina. And if you've been following along with my other episodes, you'll already notice there's something different about this one. That's because every fourth episode, I want to take the time to answer your questions. And right now, the most common question that I'm getting is, how do you know if it's a ghost that's shown up in the photo or video that you've captured? So I'm going to tell you some of the most common ways that ghosts show up in film. Personally, the most common way that I've seen ghosts show up in film is through things that are called orbs. They're little balls of light, understood to be reflections of the soul, not reflections of lights that you and I can see from a light bulb. Most common colors that we see with orbs are white, but I've also commonly seen them in shades of light green and light blue. Sometimes they're really small, and other times they can be large and kind of transparent. And on a rare occasion, they may just look like a face. But that could be depending on what you see and how you see it. The next step up from an orb would be, honestly, what many people call different things. Some people call them zippers, some people call them vortexes. It depends on how thick they are sometimes. Me, I just call them moving orbs, and we've already seen one of those on my second episode outside of Bullock Hospital, but I also commonly see them at graveyards, most commonly St. James Graveyard, where they seem to be popping up out of the ground. These can also be varying levels of transparency. I usually see them in white, but outside of the Bergen Wright House, for example, I see them in shades of blue and green. Fog is another common anomaly that we see on the tour and that many people also see in photos. Sometimes it's fog that'll sit right around the level of a tombstone, for example, out at St. James. Other times the fog can be billowing up to the sky. And some people will say that the fog is just in between and trying to take shape to look like the person that it's portraying. Oftentimes fog is seen in shades of white, but we've also seen it on the tour in shades of gray, green, and kind of a pinkish bronze. Another common occurrence are shadows or even full shadow figures. Some people will report seeing shadows just like you and I would see shadows in the sun, like what's behind me. Other people will report seeing shadows right in front of their face. So this could be something like the fog taking shape of a shadow, or maybe you're looking at a full-on anomaly. But some people believe that shadows may be spirits, whereas other people believe that they might be shadow people which may have never lived and died. They're just existing, if you will. As I mentioned earlier, some people claim to see just the faces themselves, and those faces might be in the orbs I talked about. But they could also sometimes be levitating. And this is one of those things where you have to wonder, is it something truly spiritual, like a ghost or something or another? Or is it just our mind playing tricks on us? Either way, it does make for a very interesting photo. Reflections off of surfaces such as mirrors or even windows are also a great way to capture different anomalies. We've seen anything from faces to orbs to full-on apparitions, oftentimes looking out of very old windows. Something about reflective surfaces can sometimes capture how something appeared when it was alive and maybe open up that kind of gate to be able to see it when it's walking around, when it's passed on. This is why I always recommend to my tour groups, when at old homes or homes that you know are haunted, take photos of the mirrors, take photos of the windows. You never know what could be staring back at you. Lastly, and I'd venture to say the most rare, is when you see a full apparition. This is an apparition that has facial features, but not only facial features, but you might be able to see what they're wearing, what time period they came from. As I said, these are rare. If they happened all the time, I think we'd have a lot less skeptics out there in the world. So if you capture one of these photos, wow. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for following my channel. For those of you who have subscribed and been commenting, I love reading those comments. If you saw any photos today that you haven't already seen, trust me, I'm making videos and they're coming out. So be sure to subscribe so that you get to know first when those videos come out. And as always, thank you to Ghost Walk of Old Wilmington. That's the ghost tour that I work on. We would love to see you come down and see us. Thank you again. I'm Rebekah, the Ghost Guide.